You can't have too many stitch markers. These colorful little rings are such an important tool, but just like socks in the dryer, they tend to disappear. My couch has eaten more than I can count. If you are newer to knitting and crochet, you might wonder why stitch markers are so important and why there are so many different types. Your basic stitch marker is a closed ring placed on the needle between stitches. Often patterns will tell you to place a marker with its position becoming a designated point referred to throughout the instructions. The use of the marker makes for more concise and clear instructions. Stitch markers can also mark the beginning and end of stitch pattern repeats. Even if the instructions don't call for stitch markers, they can be very helpful, especially with more complicated stitch patterns. You can stop and count, ensuring the proper number of stitches are maintained between the markers, helping reduce mistakes. Because of the closed ring, this marker will stay on the needle as you work. When you reach the marker on the needle, slip it over to the right needle and continue working. If it is time to remove the marker, you can also take it off the needle entirely. Available in various sizes, some knitters use markers not much larger than the needle. Personally, I do not recommend this for two reasons. 1, markers can travel underneath the stitches. When they move around, it defeats the purpose of placing a marker. Using a larger marker will prevent it from shifting. The second reason I prefer to use a bigger marker is the larger size will slip much easier. With the small size markers, there is barely any room to slip a needle tip into the ring. Another style of a closed marker is triangle shaped. This shape allows the needle tip to slip the marker easily and prevents the marker from traveling under the stitch, making for a nice alternative if you prefer a smaller size marker. The other most common style of stitch marker is an open ring marker. These markers can be easily removed at any point, unlike closed ring markers, and they can be used for crochet. Open ring markers are used to mark a stitch rather than points in between stitches. They may also mark the end of a row and can be used just like a closed ring marker. One downside of open ring markers is that they can fall off, defeating the point of having a marker in place. Locking markers combine the best of both styles, staying in place when needed and easily opening when it's time to take it off. Stitch markers can be functional or a pretty piece of useful jewelry to admire while you work. Coco Knit stitch markers have an added benefit in that they are magnetic. Couple their markers with one of their Maker Keeps and locating drop markers is a snap.